Going on, everyone? It's me, Sade, Burrell. I know it's been a while since I put a video out. I know I got a reason. Bear with me right now. I got a reason, right? A reason, a valid reason, a valid excuse, right? So let me get into it. So what happened was I turned in my paper that I needed to complete in order to determine whether or not I was going to be accepted. So, well, stay in the program. I'm already in the program, but whether or not I was going to stay in the program. So I'd finished that paper 3 weeks early. Then I went on vacation to Hawaii. I went to Hawaii for a few days, had fun, enjoyed myself, came back to San Diego, and what happened? Boom, a car crash happens, right? Reality happens, and just things happen. So I think I did a video on why you should finish your work early, and I put a picture in what happened with the car crash. But even if the car crash wouldn't have happened, let me tell you what happens. When I first came into my doctoral program, I never forget one of the cohort members who were with a class ahead of me said, don't take breaks. Like every day you should be doing something related to your dissertation, your work, whatever it is, you should be doing something. And so I was like, well, I've earned this vacation, which, you should rest, for a few days. But I took 3 weeks off. 3 whole weeks. I didn't touch nothing, look at nothing. However, so what happens is I take 3 weeks off. I come back. School starts. It takes me a whole month to get into my groove again. Here is the advice I would give to you. Do not take long breaks. Every day, do something related to your dissertation. Even if it's you just sitting in the bed thinking about your dissertation proposal, thinking about your possible participants. 10 minutes, do something. When I say I forgot about everything, I forgot about everything. And so I'm highly recommending that you do something related to your dissertation, your whatever assignment, something related to school you should do. And so I thought it was just me at first, right? I'm like, oh man, it's only me. Almost half my whole class was like, they were all in a funk. And this is when I said, okay, I need to tell my people, hey, don't take these long breaks, because what happens is you get in this funk and it's hard to come out. What does a funk mean? And you sometimes you get depressed, because then we're also, while we're in this thing, we're also waiting for the results from our paper. You don't get the results till after. So you're still having to go to class and everything. You don't know. Well, I was very confident, a little too confident in what I turned in. I turned it in 2 weeks early. So I turned it in 2 weeks early, and I took 3 weeks, 4 weeks off, something like that. But I felt good that I was going to pass. However, where I messed up was I should have still been researching, looking up stuff. So you're like, okay, your body needs to rest. Absolutely. All right, I even did a video on self-care. Self-care is absolutely important. 100% it's important. However, it's a difference between self-care and abusing it. Right? You can abuse anything. Right? So let's take, for example, healthy eating. You can abuse healthy eating and you could tear up your insides. You can also abuse eating in general, right? We need nutrients in our body. You can this is probably not a word, you can overcompensate for nutrients if you eat too many of them. Right? And a lot of people don't know this. Same thing with if you over self-care, you are going to actually do more damage than good. And I think that no one really talks about that side. They don't talk about the side where it's like, hey, you're self-caring again this week? They're like, good for you. Instead of saying, hey, you might want to comment there, good for you. No. Or I have my self-care routines, but it's called self-care because it's care that I like. And I let other people convince me that because I wasn't taking a break, that wasn't self-care. Self-care for me was just going and looking up articles that I think I might like, not because I had to read it, not because it was part of I like looking up stuff for fun. But people will make you feel guilty for doing those things because it's not their version of self-care. Maybe their version of self-care is them going out and spending money, going on vacations and things like that. It may look different for you. And I think those are things that we need to keep in mind when we are actually self-caring, because self-care too much, like I said, can hurt you. And so I took too big of a break, way too big of a gap. My other friend, he also took too big of a gap too. My other friend, she took too big of a gap too. And we all said, man, it was hard getting into things. And we said we will never, ever take a break like that again. Maybe what we'll do is take a few days off, and then instead of getting into it hardcore, what we'll do is we will, all right, cool, I'll look at something, I'll think about it today. I'll spend 5 minutes thinking about it, set a time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Even something as little as that is valuable. It can change your groove. Because, okay, so I wake up, I do the 4 a.m. grind. A lot of people ask me about why I wake up at 4 a.m. And then they ask me, do you wake up on the weekend at 4 a.m.? I said, yeah. I said, why? It's the weekend. Because if you don't wake up at 4 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, when Monday comes around, your body's tired again. So you're back. You're constantly retraining yourself to wake up again. That's not good for you. Versus if you were consistent with it, it's actually good. Like, so now my body is, even when I sleep in, my sleep in is just like 6 a.m. I can't go past that. I can't remember the last time I slept past 6 a.m. It's just, I mean, maybe if I stay up to like 4 a.m. or something like that. But even then, my body I'll sleep till like 7. My body gets up. And so it's like when the sun goes up, so does my body. And I think that it's important, right? We talked about routine in a few other videos, but keeping that routine, because when you interrupt that routine, it actually can cause you to be depressed. I think that's what a lot of cohort members in my cohort, my cohort, they were dealing with depression, myself included. You start doubting yourself. You start, I don't know. It's like, you're already a year in. You're knee deep in this thing, so you might as well just keep going. Yeah, before you know it, you're walking across the stage one last time. But you doubt yourself because you've taken so long of a break from all of this stuff. It's crazy. You can't do that. You cannot take that long of a break. Always constantly be working on something in regards to your topic, or writing memo notes. Right, memo notes are you jotting down what's going on in your head and putting it down. And so constantly doing those activities is going to stimulate your brain, right? Stimulate your brain. That's really what it's about. It's about stimulating your brain. So how do you keep your routine going after you feel wiped out? Right? You're like, man, I just finished turning this in. My body's beat. It usually doesn't take more than about 72 hours to recover, right? Maybe a week. If you're just doing nothing, maybe a week. I think that once you go past a week of not even touching anything, it begins to hurt you. It's no longer self-care. It's you think you're doing self-care and you're going to hurt yourself in the long run, right? And that I think we talked about imposter syndrome. Although I don't truly believe that we all have imposter syndrome, I think that that's a whole nother video. If you ever thought about imposter syndrome, it enhances like 10 times more once you come back from a long break, right? So maybe a week max, and then get back on it slowly by reading things and engaging with things, talking to people about your research, right? So so what are you in school for? Well, actually, let me tell you what I think that's when those conversations get started, right? So I just thought that was information I should share with you guys, because it was weighing on me, and I did not want to do this video until I was able to confidently say, hey, I'm back on track. I was in a slump. I mean, a slump. I was like, I don't know. Versus weeks before, I was on cloud 9, and that's part of the process too. And I think that everything I'm going through is all part of the process. You hear so many people, trust the process, trust the process. Here's what I say, trust the process if you're putting in the work. If you're just sitting here like, I'm trusting the process, and you're not putting in any work, then you shouldn't trust nothing, not even yourself. But when you're putting in that work, you can trust that process, and that process means you're going to doubt, you're going to feel good, you're not going to feel good, you're going to feel confident, you're not going to feel confident. But I have a core group of people around me who have went through this stage that I've been through, or they're currently going through it, and we talk about this, right? So I tell y'all, mental health is important. You don't take care of this. You don't take care of this. You don't take care of your physical body. And what happens? Everything falls down. All right. So, I hope that this was of use to you. And I hope that you don't do what I did. Learn from my mistake, young grasshopper. Learn from my mistake. All right. Y'all have a great one. It's me, Sade Burrell. Stand for something.